questions. Start with Elena Morris, VandySports.com.
Yeah, the last game against Tennessee a little bit closer than this one today.
Yeah.
What do you think some of the bigger differences were today between now and the last game?
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, I thought they outplayed us today. I thought they played really well. It felt like every open shot. And I don't think we helped ourselves in that area. I think we gave them a lot of open shots early on and kind of dug ourselves a hole early, which we don't normally do. That's not indicative of how we play defensively. So I thought today, if you look at, I'm not really completely an analytical coach, but if you look at the stat sheet, we were pretty competitive in most areas except for our percentage where we shot. I mean, they shot 52% from the floor. We shot 32%. We missed a ton of open shots, layups, threes. There were some things today that I thought we can control, that we can get better at. And there were things, outside of our control that we just didn't go our way today. So you got to put your hat off to them. It's just, end of February. This is when you want to be playing your best basketball. And I thought today they played really well. They made it really hard for us to get anything really going. I think we can be much more competitive on the defensive end of the floor. And I expect, when we get a week off and we can get fully healthy, that we'll knock in the open shots we get. The next 3 games that we play are really important. So obviously we got to look today at the things that we could have done better, specifically defensively. And then we have to get healthy this week, make sure we make whatever adjustments we need to make so that we can finish the regular season strong.
You mentioned digging yourself in a hole early. Is there anything you can attribute that to?
No, we just gave them wide open shots. I mean, you can't give shooters wide open shots that early in the game. And when they make them on the road, and it felt like they made every single one of them. That first quarter, they scored 30 points. That's a lot for us to give up. That's a lot for anybody to score in one quarter. We can't give up a quarter like that and feel like, we're doing anything good defensively. And that is where we're hanging our hat this year. I also, felt like it wasn't a hole we couldn't dig ourselves out of. But it felt like every time we got within striking distance, we gave up another open 3, or something else happened that, the ball rolled the wrong way, or we didn't get a call, or we did get a call, whatever. I just felt like we never really got within, real striking distance. And whenever we did, it was, 6 points, in 2 possessions later. So I think that, I wish I could say one thing, but to me it was lack of defensive communication and effort led to open shots that they made. And that just really right away, right out of the gate, hurt us.
Shea, Camille Pierre, I know she had that hand issue.
Yeah.
Was that affecting her today?
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I haven't really asked her. If they can play, I don't ask them if they're okay. You tell me if you can't play, I won't play you. If you can't play, I expect you to play. She was ready to go. I think today was just, a day where she really struggled offensively. And as our players continue to grow, I want them to understand that all of them, not just Camille, when you don't make shots, and we didn't make enough shots today, but that can't be the sole reason that we lost, and it wasn't. In the first quarter, they made more open shots because we gave them more open shots. So there's a lot of different ways you can impact the game as a basketball player. It can't just be solely scoring points, because you will have, and your team will have, days like today. And days like today are when we really needed our defense, and we just didn't have it. So that's where we have to make sure that we go back and get things right.
Yeah, we saw a good number of Ayanna Mitchell minutes today, especially
Yeah.
early on. What are you liking out of what you've seen out of her game so far coming back from injury, and what are you still looking for her to grow?
She fights. I mean, she's big body, right? And we need that. She's a big athletic post player. She's an SEC athlete. And the more minutes she gets, the more comfortable I think she'll get. She's still, I think we're still working on making sure she understands what her role is when she goes into the game. And that can change game to game. Part of that's youth and understanding. Part of it's experience. You can have a young kid with a lot of experience that knows her role, and you can have somebody like Mitch who's young and doesn't have a ton of experience. But I do think she'll get confidence from today. Thought she did some really good things. We just have to make sure, and I have to make sure when she goes in the game, she knows what her role is on offense, so that we can, not miss a beat there. Sasha is so ingrained in our offense that it can be a little bit more difficult if things aren't going as smoothly. But I thought today she played almost 12 minutes for us, and she did what I thought she could do, and that will be really helpful, specifically down the stretch, and when we hopefully play in March.
Obviously, your top 3 scoring threats, Jordan, Ayanna, and Sasha did pretty well, but, you know, there wasn't a lot of offense outside those three. Was there anything specific that was kind of going wrong for the rest of the team?
It's a good question. I don't know that I would say that it went wrong. I thought they played pretty aggressively on defense, and I think we just have to do a better job of continuing to move. So that does a bunch of things. That opens up the floor. That, you know, when the ball gets stuck and you have a team that plays aggressively, that's big and strong and athletic, and the game is being called a certain way, then you're not going to get open. You know, like it's not going to be a play that gets you open. You have to keep moving and cutting and moving those big defenders, so they have to cover more area. And maybe then you'll get a couple foul calls just because they're having to hold on to you while you're moving. I felt like after a while, maybe we got a little bit tired. I'm not really sure. I thought maybe we got a little bit tired. We weren't making a lot of shots. That can do something to you mentally too. It's not even just physical fatigue, it's mental fatigue. When you make a bunch of mistakes and those mistakes pile up. I think today you saw our team look maybe like we had a little mental fatigue. And like I said, we're going to have to go back and make sure that I'm not expecting them to make every shot, but we do have to do better on defense. So we'll have games like this. We're going to have games where offensively, you know, it just isn't the open shots, the layups that Camille got today, the layups that Sasha got. They didn't go in. So what are we going to do about it on the other end of the floor so we can create more opportunities maybe in transition? We can move the ball a little bit more on offense so we can get some calls and get to the free throw line.
Kia Jackson's obviously one of the more highly regarded players in the country. What kind of challenges does she present, and what was your kind of approach to her before the game?
I mean, she's a great player, and she plays with a lot of confidence and a lot of swag. I really like that about her. I think the mistakes we made with her today is we let her catch the ball where she's really comfortable. So one of the things we talked about before the game was in preparation, making her uncomfortable, putting her, you know, making her have to use her right hand a little bit more, not letting her catch it in that like elbow area, not letting her get to the rim, not letting her offensive rebound. So you can see we didn't do a very good job of that today, did we? And she's a great player, and great players take advantage of your mistakes. And that's what she did today. So, again, I thought Tennessee played a really, really good game. They played as well as I've seen them play this year. They played today from soup to nuts. She's their best player, and she had, you know, a great game, which is what great players do at this time of the year.
You have a question over here?
You kind of just touched on it, but after Tennessee lost by 11 to South Carolina on Thursday, Dawn said she wasn't looking forward to playing them when they had things together, because when you watch the film, even though they have picked up losses, the team was getting better, and she thought they had it together. Did you have a similar feeling going to this, that this Tennessee team, even though they had picked up, 4 losses, that they were getting things together?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what you saw today, right? You see them, they played well last week, they played well today, and I do think that they played a good game today. I don't know if they're getting things together. I'm not in their locker room. I just felt like we didn't make it hard for them. I would feel better answering that if I felt like we played a really good game today and they just beat the brakes off of us, but we didn't. I thought we played one of our worst games today and they beat the brakes off of us. So, I mean, that's what's going to happen at this league if you don't show up with your A game in February. And so again, I want to make sure that I say they played great. And it looks like they're starting to click at the right time of year. I just wish we would have played a little bit better so that we could have made it tougher and been more competitive from the start.
What does it mean to you and your team that you guys have an entire week off until your next game?
We need it for a bunch of different reasons. We need it, and you guys know how I feel. The people that have been here before. Today was a loss, right? But I don't think that a team's value or your greatness as an individual player lies in wins and losses. I really don't feel that way. I feel like your greatness as a team and a player resides in how you deal with both. How you deal when you're winning, and then how you deal when you're losing and you don't play great. That's where greatness lies. So over the course of the next week, we're going to work on becoming a better team. We're going to work on our greatness because I do think that we have it inside of us. Today wasn't our day. And we found out, I think, a lot of things about ourselves today, in particular, because it was just so crappy from start to finish for us, and the losses we've had up to this point haven't been like that. So I'm looking forward to getting the time with our team. Number one, to get healthy, but number two, to take a really good look at, hey, where are the places we need to get better? What are the things we can do better individually? What did you learn about yourself? in our team in this last game. We have a whole week now, which is huge because these next 3 games, these are really important games for our team and our program.
Shea, it feels like your team has been playing better on the road this season than you have at home. Do you think there's a reason behind that?
Gosh, there's so many other things that I worry about. That hasn't been one of them. But, you know, I don't know. I like that we have that because that's completely opposite from the last 2 years, right? I think this year was the first year we won a game on the road. I think for me, you know, you take how we played the last 2 games and you take today, and the thing that we need to look at is we need more consistency. So relentless consistency, we talk about that. We need to be more consistent in everything that we do. And I think, you know, when you look at how we played the last 2 games and you look at today, that wasn't there. And so road or home, I don't know. I would like us to be consistent no matter what. So hopefully we have both of those games coming up the next 3 games. Hopefully we can find a better, like a level playing field there as we go into March.
All right, Coach, appreciate your time.
All right, thank you guys. It's great to see everyone.